Hey, I'm Rob Giles on MerrillWood, in MerrillWood, created by MerrillWood for MerrillWood at MerrillWood.org. If your day is bleak and lonely and life ain't what you thought it'd be, blame LA. If your friends don't call you back and your odds are all still stacked, blame LA. If you're late again for my show 'cause no one else wanted to go, blame LA. If you can't stand how you look and you can't stand what you say, blame LA. 'Cause this town wants to see you lose, and this town wants to see you cry. This town's made for freaks and fools, and this town's made to sell the lie. This town can't be understood, no, this town can't be good, so why stay? Blame LA. If you can't get what you want and it makes you drink too much, blame LA. If you can't stand this party 'cause everyone's out of touch, blame LA. If you can't get a hot date 'cause the hot ones are too vain, blame LA. And if you can't fill the hole in your heart up with anything more than you, blame LA. Yeah, 'cause this town wants to see you lose, and this town wants to see you cry. This town's made for freaks and fools, and this town's made to sell the lie. This town can't be understood, no, this town can't be good, so why stay? Blame LA. If you hate the trees and the sky and the mountains and the beach and people's crazy dreams, blame LA. If you hate concerts and sports and food and culture and art and the wonder of it all, blame LA. If you think it didn't work out 'cause I didn't work as hard as you, blame LA. Baby, if you think that I left you for anything other than you, blame LA. Yeah, 'cause this town wants to see you lose, and this town wants to see you cry. This town's made for freaks and fools, and this town's made to sell the lie. This town can't be understood, no, this town can't be good, so why stay? Blame LA. MerrillWood.com.
Can't find a job and life's getting hard. Spending your days looking for ways to get paid. Well, might get a tip, turning a trick, or get yourself hired working as a Mexican day laborer. To whom do you run when you haven't the answers? Merrill's her name, laughter's her game, so no need to frown. There's a new Chewbacca in town. Live from MerrillWood, it's the Merrill Davis Show. Live from MerrillWood, it's the Merrill Davis Show. It's the Merrill Davis Show. It's the Merrill Davis Show.
Woohoo! Yay! Hi, welcome to MerrillWood. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, or in some parts of the world, this morning, or after, any time you want to insert in there is the time that it is. So we have such an exciting show. I'd like to thank Rob Giles for playing that excellent, amazing song opening our show with Blame LA.
Love it.
He's a phenomenal singer and songwriter, as you may have already figured out for yourself, and we will be talking to him a little bit later. So I'm going to get right to it and introduce our lovely guests. We have Caterina Scorsone here this evening. She's a brilliant actress. She's been acting all her life since she was 8, and she was in the show Missing, 1-800-MISSING, or now
Which then became Missing.
which became Missing, which we will also get to watch her extraordinary skills. And then I'd also like to introduce our next guest, Greg Glienna.
Yes.
Woo! And Greg, why don't you come? Well,
Run in front of the.
just run in front of the camera. We have only so many cameras. That's Greg, and he's a writer and a director, and he wrote the original Meet the Parents, and he also, which if you don't know what that is, where you're hiding, and he also recently directed a movie with Danny DeVito and Kathy Bates, and we'll be talking to him about that. So, as we do every week, we have a mantra.
Hey, Meryl, aren't you going to introduce me?
Oh my God!
I blame Meryl.
How could I do that?
Blame Meryl.
How could I do that to you, David?
That's all right.
With all you've done for me. I'd like to introduce my cohort. That's the right word? Cohort? Yeah. I'm reading the dictionary, so we're gonna have a word of the day.
What
as
chapter
well.
are you on?
Okay, this is David. Yeah, sorry, the drugs are coming. So David Forrest. This is my wonderful co-host, and
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
So sorry about that.
You all look great.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a mantra of the day. We want to be fair and say that it's not really been a mantra every week. It's been more like a passage. But we've called it a mantra because it sounds cool. But then we realized that, we've really been sharing food for thought, passages, ideas, lyrics. So we have a new one tonight, and that is don't be an Indian giver. And the reason we say that is because we can't get over how horribly racist and horrible that is, and we just think it's funny because that used to be an actual thing.
Colloquialism.
Yeah,
Colloquialism.
Someone
is
else
the right.
has been reading the dictionary.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'd love to know the etymology of that word, like or that phrase rather. I mean,
Well, I think I know it.
Do you know it?
Yeah, I mean, the reason it's
Bring
so...
Katerina into this. Yeah.
Which camera am I on, by the way?
You're on this
Hi.
camera.
Well, I think that... And maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to... maybe I'm going to be sued now. But
No.
But I believe it was... The reason it's so terribly offensive is because it refers to, the early traders coming to North America and being like, here, I'll give you beads for your country. And then they were like, sure, thanks for the beads, and you can hang out in our country. And then they were like, okay, get out. And they were like, what do you mean? It's all of our country. And they were like, but we gave you beads.
And
so
that's
then
where
they
it
were
came.
like,
Look
no,
at
but we
you,
didn't give you
story.
the
Wealth of
country.
knowledge.
And so
Yeah.
that's
we didn't
why
even plan it.
it's a terrible, embarrassing history for the white folk.
Well, we have more to add to it, and we're
And
making it.
we were so unashamed that
Yes.
we then took that and made it a colloquialism.
That's right. Well, we're okay. I was gonna say something, but sometimes I have to censor myself because no one else will do it for me. Okay, so and then we're gonna move on. But I'm so glad you shared that story with us because we didn't know. Well, I'll speak for myself. I didn't. And then our green tip of the day is we wanted to be kind to our neighbor here at the stream.tv and tell you to watch Green Health live on the stream.tv. That's our green tip for the day.
Nice.
They have a lot of
Yes.
excellent green advice and green people.
When does it air, Meryl?
And the Green Health live show airs. It airs. When does it air?
When does it air, Meryl? Come on.
Every week.
It's Mondays at 6 p.m.
It's
Pacific.
Mondays at 6 p.m. every week here on the stream.tv. Okay, so we are going to move along here, and we are going to get started with our guest, Caterina Scorsone. Caterina, welcome.
Thank
you
you.
for doing MerrillWood.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting here with the great, beautiful photograph of you and the purple curtain.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Stop. I mean, keep going. So now we are going to talk about your exciting career and how you've been acting since you were 8 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so we have some questions.
Okay. Very
Are
nervous.
you ready? Okay. Because what we did this time was we formulated an exam.
Right.
So that
multiple choice.
That's right.
I brought my 2 pencils.
Okay, good. And you'll have to take that.
All right.
After the show.
Can I cheat?
Sometimes cheating is okay. Sometimes it's required. No. So you tell us how you got started acting.
I got started acting. I come from a family of many, many children and lots of love. And
How many children?
there are 5. So that's many to most North Americans, but not many.
That's a lot.
to Opus Dei.
Yeah, but that's a
Yeah.
lot because I have 5 people in my own family.
Yeah.
So
So
including parents.
and there were twins, and then there was me, and then a brother, and then a sister, and we were all like 14 months apart.
Wow.
My brother and I call ourselves Irish twins.
Oh,
Because we're
that's-
14 months apart.
Oh, that's cute.
That's probably also highly offensive.
Oh, is it? No, really?
But and so we used to put on plays in the living room, and my sister loved directing them, and then she wanted to be an actor and had a friend who had an agent, and I kind of tagged along, and
That's how it all started.
yeah.
So, was the first your first gig?
The first gig was something that was the Canadian equivalent of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It was called Mr. Dress Up, and and actually, Mr. Rogers and Mr. Dress Up used to have a show together called Butternut Castle. Before they,
How come we missed
Oh, but
Butternut Castle?
There was a rift.
How did we miss that?
One of them went to the
Butternut
States,
Castle.
and one of them went to Canada, and
Okay, so now you grew up in Toronto.
Yeah.
And you recently moved to Hollywood.
Yes.
Do you regret that move?
so far, I've been doing a lot of blaming of LA.
Of LA?
No,
Okay.
the first couple months were a little rough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just in terms of, I mean, the
The
urban
hooking
jungle
and the Chewbacca costume.
you know,
It's hot, right? I mean,
although Home Depot was very good to me.
was
I've
Home
gotta
Depot good to
say.
you? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Did they give you like benefits?
Yeah, and free supplies.
Oh, and lots of new friends.
Yes.
Okay. Awkward. That could be offensive. I don't know.
But I'm starting to get used to it, and the weather. I've learned about sunscreen here, Canada. There's
Yes,
cloud
we're both
cover.
very light skinned.
Yes, yes.
White women.
Yes.
Stick with the theme.
Swatter just wrote here, the Canadian version of Mr. Rogers moved to Canada because he was a dirty hippie dodging the draft.
Oh,
Well, are we talking politics now?
well, I think
I'm
we.
going to
I think-
offend many.
Oh, well, I think we should move into that slowly, kind of like a date. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
just getting to know each other.
Let's start with small
Yeah, we don't want to.
All right, well, Bring the Horizon 4 says, tell Katrina her dress is awesome.
My goodness.
So
I'm coming back here.
Yeah, you're
that's
gonna.
maybe a little safer discussion.
I
We-
feel like
we
I'm
can-
on a first date now.
Yes. Well, I do too, and we both look pretty.
Yeah, you look pretty.
Oh, thanks.
This is kind
Did I
of a
just say we both
romantic-
look pretty? That was weird. I just did, Okay. No, but you look pretty. Okay, so we're going to talk about an exciting. You worked with Ed Harris.
I did.
And we talked about that, and so I want to talk about where you were in the crossroads of your life when you met
This story.
Ed Harris.
Okay.
And tell that story, and then okay.
So the speedy version, the Red Bull version, is that I started working when I was 8.
Red Bull with vodka.
Red Bull with vodka. I started working when I was 8. kind of didn't want to be an actor really, but thought it was fun as an extracurricular activity. And then I started doing more and more and more. And then I realized it was a job for grown-ups. And by the time I was 19, I'd done a series and a bunch of movies, and was wondering if I should go to university or not. My parents both, had PhDs and were very academic, and I was offered a scholarship
what do your parents
to school.
do you mind me asking?
Sure. My mother's a social anthropologist.
Oh, very cool.
And my dad is a social worker.
Okay.
And he kind of reorganizes social work agencies.
So they care about other people.
They're those caring types. Yeah, it's exhausting.
Not all about that. Okay, so go ahead.
And so I ended up doing this movie with Ed called The Third Miracle, which was directed by Agnieszka Holland, who did Europa.
Okay.
Among others. She's a brilliant Polish director. And so I was working with him, and he was kind of one of the people who was like, go to university. If you're at all interested, you should go.
Yeah,
and
he seems like a very bright man.
he was awesome.
Well, he went to my school. So.
He did. He did.
He went to CalArts.
CalArts.
Yeah, I plug that every time, and then
That's great. You should.
But David, do we have her first acting clip?
Yeah,
that
we
want
do.
To show?
We'll show you this.
Okay, because I want you to continue, but
Sure.
I want the audience to see how delightfully talented this
right.
lady
Is
is.
this the tough one?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
So,
is good.
what's this from?
I'm on an FBI show here. I play a psychic FBI agent on the show Missing, and so here I'm just kicking some ass.
Like you do.
So,
Ready? I'm gonna show
yeah.
David Travis has the baby. He's headed to an airfield. I don't know which one.
Well, where are you now?
I'm somewhere in Alexandria with a perp and possible deceased.
Whoa.
All right.
Great. Well, I'm afraid of you. I have to go. Really,
I mean, there wasn't a lot of the acting there. It was more just the kicking ass.
yeah, but that's
that's
really
cool.
that.
That's cool.
I think
That's
that
what I'm
requires
most proud
quite a
of.
bit, actually. I mean, you've got to be really, kind of a bully.
I used to
a
be so
biatch.
genteel, and so this show helped me transition.
No, that was really amazing.
ass.
Did you work with a stunt coordinator to
Yes.
to do all the moves?
Yes.
And
And
how long does that take to prepare for a scene like that?
It depends. I think for that one, there was a bit of extra preparation because of the wood. But,
You can't actually hit him.
well,
with the wood.
we ended up using, he was very padded, but we also used breakaway wood. And so it was fine.
Did he say that hurt or anything?
Privately. Privately after, and then we all pointed and laughed. And
Oh,
told him he was a
good.
sissy.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
very funny. So now, okay, so that was from the show that you did for 3 years,
Yes.
right? And did because I like to interrupt people.
Go for it.
So
Me too.
I do quite a bit actually.
We'll tag team.
Okay, excellent. So did you get a chance to finish your Ed Harris story?
No.
Okay, let's
Should
do that.
Do you
Yes,
want
yes,
it back,
yes.
or
I
should
want
we
it
just move
back.
on?
I
There's
want
so
it back.
much.
I want it back.
Okay, so he said go to. Oh, I know what story you want me to tell.
Yes.
Okay, so he said you should go to university, and so he was one of the first people that was like, forget LA and the acting, you can do that later, it'll still be here. And so then what happened right after that was I was up for a film, and this director, who shall remain nameless so that I don't get sued,
Or we don't.
or you
Either.
don't.
Yeah.
Right. He read me for a film, and we met to talk about the script, and he basically said to me in so many words, you can have the part in the movie if you sleep with me. And I was
Wow.
horrified.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that it really happened.
I think it's upsetting for me because when I go in, they never ask to sleep with me, and I want, you know what I mean? I want that opportunity. Like, okay, if you give me that opportunity, then at least I have some
least I have
control
something to weigh.
over the role. You know what I mean? You want control, and I don't.
You know.
Maybe I'm not.
It's better than, street corner turning tricks.
Right. No.
Barcode
see, I
just
tried
wrote
that.
in, Meryl.
In the intro. But anyway,
Oh, sorry.
basically I was...
Meryl, Barcode wrote, It's the dress, Meryl.
Why?
That you're not getting laid. Or
Is it too poofy?
I think it's just poofy enough.
Do I look preggers? Do I look like I'm carrying a couple of people? Okay. So let's get back to you. By the way, we will get interrupted not just by me, we get instant message throughout the show, and that's
Bring the Horizon
New
4
friends.
has a special question for you too.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
After
We don't-
But I should tell the rest of the
Let's-
story so that you know I didn't do it.
Oh yeah, no.
right.
You're gonna
I
tell
want to
it.
get to that.
But
That's a good point.
Brian, we can't see the screen on this side. We
Yeah,
can't.
so it doesn't confuse you. David will take care of it.
Oh my goodness.
Don't lean too forward.
Are you just kidding me? I'm fine. I can do it. I've learned to multitask now. I can handle it. Wow. All right. No comment.
What did are we going to the
the
New Friends or
the
should I tell the story?
the end of the story.
Finish the story.
Okay. So the end of the story is I said no. Well, I won't get into the details.
Right,
it was
right.
such a ridiculous conversation. But anyway, I said no, and I left, and I called my agents, one in LA and one in Canada, and I told them what had happened, and I was all indignant, and, I didn't think that this happened anymore, and what should we do? We have to tell someone. And my agent in LA said, well, at least he wanted to fuck you. That's a good
Oh, that's great.
What?
Oh, that's great.
And he was
Yeah,
like, it
because
happens all the
they
time.
haven't wanted to with me, so I'm a little jealous. I am.
He was like, welcome to LA.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, well, that calls it. I'm
Right.
going to take the scholarship. But then I
And
told
your
the
Canadian agent.
and the Canadian agent was kind of like, well, you really, I wanted to like do a formal complaint or something, and he was like, no, you
A
really
press conference.
you shouldn't say anything. It'll, you don't want to rock the boat, and it'll kind of ruin your
a
career.
little bit more Canadian. A little less
It
asshole
wasn't quite,
American. Right?
maybe not as honest.
Right.
At least he wanted to fuck you.
Oh my God.
But so what I ended up doing, I kind of at that point was like, screw this, and if that's what being an actor is all about, I won't do it, and
Right.
fuck all y'all, and and so I
off to university.
well, and I wrote an article for the union newspaper all about sexual harassment in the workplace, and that was kind of my final stand. And I'm going to
and is that
university.
SAG in Canada?
It's ACTRA,
Okay.
and they're related. So you're.
But it's not AFTRA.
It's not AFTRA. In
With a C.
Toronto, it's
Okay.
ACTRA. In BC, I think it's Union of British Columbia. Or
So
something.
why would you move to Hollywood? No, I mean, I'm not saying like there's the obvious reason. No, I don't mean that. It always comes out so wrong. I don't mean that. I mean there's the obvious reason, and then there's the you worked.
Right.
You were working.
Yeah.
Consistently in
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
So
I think basically what happens is I had done films there, and I did a series there, and I did now an American series that shot there.
Right.
Missing was American.
Missing
but
was
it shot in
American.
Toronto,
Okay.
and I was the lead of that. And so, I had kind of done everything in Canada. I had done everything in Canada.
Right.
At that point, I couldn't do anything more.
I hear you.
Until I moved to LA, and I think I also had a lot of fear. LA to me was like this big, scary place where
it didn't go away though, right? You still
LA?
have the fear?
Yeah,
because
well-
I live here and it hasn't gone away. I still have the fear. I live in Los Angeles.
The driving. The
Yeah.
driving thing is
Yeah, you can fear it every day.
But I think after I did the show, we've gone out of chronology. Basically, I went home. I went to university.
my fault.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay,
Going out of chronology.
Okay, good.
In the past and the future.
Okay, good.
So I went to university, and while I was in school, people who I knew would cast me in movies and stuff. But then I ended up doing the series with some producers who I'd worked with before, and they kind of called me at home and were like, "Please be an actor still." And so I was like, "Okay." And so I did the show
with both phones.
Yeah, there were two of them.
Please be an actor. Okay.
I'll do it.
We want you so badly. We're using two phones. Okay.
And so I did the show, and that was kind of, now it's time to move to LA and see what happens.
So now, when you were doing the show,
Yeah.
and this we talked about before, which David and I both found fascinating. By the way, David.
Yeah.
Your dress is lovely.
Thank you.
David, you look great.
I am David.
Which I am.
I thought we had one. I am sorry. Go on.
There's one that someone wrote, LA stands for Los Angeles, which in Spanish means it's all about Merrill.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was who was that?
Is that from Cameron?
That was up at the beginning of the show.
Well,
I would think that my
Obviously, they're in the
boyfriend
know.
would
I'll give you
probably
credit,
write
whoever
something
wrote
like
that.
that. Okay.
Good.
It is all about Meryl.
Well, right now
I've
it is.
accepted that.
Oh, Pool
No,
Man. That
not
was
right
Pool Man.
now. Right now it's about you, but in general it's about me.
I'm all about Meryl.
Oh, I love you. I'm all about Caterina. Yay! And no, it's not a gay show. Okay. So, going back to what we were talking about before, which was that she was on a show for 3 years, and we were talking, David and I were speaking with Caterina earlier today over lunch, and we were talking about,
Really, it was Red Bull and water. Let's be honest.
okay, you're right. Yeah, it wasn't really anything very fancy. But what happened was you were in like a bubble. You were like boy in the bubble
Yes.
for 3 years.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So what we were talking about was the fact that when you're on series television, especially when you're like the lead, and so you're working all the time, and you're working 16-hour days.
And she was the lead.
Oh,
And just so you know,
co-lead.
those of you in Deutschland, Germany, I know that you guys watch this show every week, and she's famosa. And I don't know what the word is in German for famous, but whatever.
Certainly not famous.
But I have to say that Michael from Germany wrote us fan mail, and I just wanted to say danke. All right, so go ahead. Sorry. Lord.
What was I?
I know it. I know it. What I put people through. You're going to need a long night to sleep. You'll be exhausted when you get home. But so you were a boy in the bubble. No, you were a girl in the bubble. You had the car come and pick you up and
Yes.
take you to the set. And then
Yes.
the way you described it today was that you were infantile.
No.
What's the word you used?
But essentially, I said infantilized.
Oh, Lord.
Which is very close, and there are some similar word letters in there.
I channel our current president, as I said, sometimes. Every once in a while, I channel him. I don't know what that's about, but maybe it's because it's all about him. And then,
I'm exhausted.
oh my God!
No.
She's already tired. Oh Lord!
So yes, you're on series television. You are, as am I. and I should say, I was not the only lead. Vivica A. Fox was also on the show, and she was wonderful to work with and full of energy, and it was great. We were.
Did she
partners.
have the A because she's a fox, or is there
Vivica's A. Fox?
Vivica's A. Fox?
There were lots of things that we would add
into the A?
Yeah.
To be friendly.
Yeah,
or mean.
Or mean.
Okay.
Depending on the mood on set that day.
Yeah. So now, when you were doing the show,
basically,
yes.
Sorry, I'm now cutting you off. 'Cause I think
please.
I know what I played a psychic. For 3 years.
know what I'm gonna say.
And I think I know what you're going to ask me.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
We would wake up in the morning very early. We'd get 5.5 hours of sleep a night. Viv and I would, because we had to be there before the crew to do hair and makeup and blocking.
So you worked longer hours than the crew.
Yes.
And the next question is, did you take naps?
Yes. This is what we would do. We would be so tired. And not all of the crew members. I should say the crew works long hours. But we start earlier in the morning. And I was there for, anyway. We were very tired. But so what we would do at lunch every day was, should I be talking to the camera?
You can
Or
talk
should I
to
be
the
talking
camera,
to
you can talk to me.
Okay.
This is a free
camera zone.
Free camera zone.
Right. Good.
But I'm looking at you, so you can talk.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
So we would start in the morning, and we'd be very tired, and so then lunch would come, and we would get our food and put it in the fridge of the trailer and go to sleep for for the international fans.
This is international.
That's the international sign for sleeping.
Yeah, because there's other your piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Choking.
Yeah. Heimlich. Oh, but we know Heimlich in Deutschland, don't we? Heimlich. Okay. This is getting more. I know that Meryl Davis comes across incredibly retarded to the rest of the world, but I just want to keep the theme going because,
Consistency.
It's consistent. Yeah, this is what we try. We try for consistency.
I do have a question from Bring the Horizon. Says, do you have any actor or actress heroes? If so, who? And by heroes, I mean people you aspire to be like. Not so much
Siler.
in all aspects. Not Siler. Not so much as, this is confusing. Any heroes that you see and want to be that level of talent? That was the entire question.
Okay.
Sure.
Now you can address the camera.
This one's for you.
Bring the Horizon.
Yes, I think that there are so many fantastic actors and actresses. I would say that right now my favorites, if that's the question, Rachel Weisz. She's great.
Love her.
And she stars in my very favorite movie, The Constant Gardener.
It's a great
Brilliant film.
Yeah,
Really
brilliant
brilliant
film. And Socially Responsible.
Yes. And
Kate-
you said that's what you want to do. You want to work.
Yeah.
Maybe you should say it.
I would like to work in socially responsible films.
That's great. So, okay, so now we covered the naps and the stamina. Oh, and you needed a doctor to come and give you B12 shots.
This is so, but now we're covering so much, and I don't
I
think
know.
we're-
You know what it is. You know what it is.
Red Bull.
It's not just that. It's also that I really wanted to get a lot of guests on the show at the same time, and
Right.
you are so engaging that we want to keep you on for a while.
I feel like we're on a second date.
Will you be my girlfriend? But she's so engaging, really, and there's so little time, unfortunately. We only have like 20 minutes left, and we have to bring on Greg.
I can come back.
No, we have to bring on Greg. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Greg, that's not what I meant.
She doesn't know what she means.
I don't ever know what I mean. I say everything crazy possible. Okay, so...
How about another song?
Yes.
Let's do
From
it.
the lovely and
Greg's
talented and
time.
pretty darn cute
Well,
Rob
we can
Giles.
swap
Yeah,
out.
he's
we
a
can,
cute
We can
guy.
swap out while the song is on.
Okay.
Okay, but I still want her to get in...
Should we close up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll wrap, yeah.
Let's close up. Okay, so in
In conclusion,
Caterina Scorsone is a gorgeous actress with the chops. We also have a what?
look at the camera.
Oh, that camera. Okay, but we have another clip though.
Yes, we do.
Can we show that real quick?
I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but
We're gonna have to have you on the show again, Caterina.
All right.
There's never enough time,
I'll
and
do
it's
it.
all my fault.
hey Brian,
Just because you were so nice.
if I press
Oh,
play
you're
on the
sweet.
And you
DVD,
liked my dress.
She
Is that gonna
well, you
work?
also had B12 shots and massages.
Yeah.
Which I was always fascinated with that kind of stuff because we don't have that on set here.
Ready?
all right. So this this last clip, Katerina, do you want to tell us what this one is?
Okay, this is from the first season of Missing, and this is myself and an actor named Brad Rowe, and we're supposed to be undercover, and we don't like each other very much, but I'm supposed to pretend to be his wife, and so we've got this moonlighting kind of relationship going on.
Ooh, I like
and we're,
that.
and we're infiltrating the mob.
Oh, very cool.
All right, here we
I
are.
like it.
Oh. Ready?
Is that you have to look like you're attracted to me.
Well, I am Jess Mastriani. I'm not Meryl Streep.
Oh, like it's any easier for me? I mean, who would marry you anyway?
Someone with great taste and bright green eyes and a butt that says something.
Butts don't say anything.
Yours doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, how would you know?
Oh, because I don't mean that. I didn't look.
Nice.
So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or in one? How about next month?
My God, it's day by day.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? The new thing in my life is trying not to project too much because I'm one of those list makers and forward thinkers, and I think right now I just gotta like
Breathe.
enjoy
Right.
this transition to LA and the weather, which is so very different.
Will
and
you go out with me again sometime?
I think I will.
Okay,
I
good.
think
Okay,
I'll
good.
go out with you again.
We have so much more to talk to you about, so we're gonna invite you again on the show.
Great. I'd love
And
to come
you've
back.
been a lovely guest.
You've been such a lovely
and
host.
thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna hug you.
Oh, good. Yay!
Yay. I'm gonna
Perks.
give you love. Yes, love you. So fabulous. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, now you have to go.
So I'll go.
No, I'm kidding.
We should hear a song.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rob's
yes,
gonna
we're
play.
going to hear a song now.
Okay.
Rob Giles, everybody.
We're going to change it to politics now. And then hopefully I can get maybe the third date with Caterina. Midlothian Missionary Tabernacle Church of the Holy Saints. They got the one and only way to heaven. Down on 14th in Chesapeake, the only way to life everlasting. Come one, come all, they got the way to heaven. Oh, baby, just come to my house. We got whiskey and a mirror ball. We'll shoot the stars and pray they never fall. Oh, the Corinthian Baptist Church of Zion got all the saints painted on the wall. Guess what? They too have the only way to heaven. Unless you're a faggot, a Muslim, a Jew, then sorry, no heaven for you. But come to the bake sale Saturday at noon. Oh, baby, just come to my house. We'll break bread, drink wine. Maybe in the same vein they did it the first time. Oh. Right now in Baghdad, there's a beautiful 6-year-old boy. Just last week, his daddy died in a car bomb. Why? 'Cause somebody's God was bigger than his daddy's God. Somebody's God more righteous than his daddy's God. And somebody's God got his hands on a bomb that was made by the CIA. Oh, baby, just come to my house. We got whiskey and a mirror ball. We'll shoot the stars and pray they never fall. Oh, baby, just come to my house. Break bread, drink wine. Maybe in the same vein they did it the first time. Oh, Midlothian Missionary Tabernacle Church of the Holy Saints. They got the one and only way to heaven. Sweet child.
Woo! That was great, Rob. So, Rob, thank you so much for doing our show.
Hey, Meryl, thanks.
And what is your MySpace information?
My MySpace.com/RobGilesMusic, which is Rob Giles Music.
K-E-Y. Now, do you you write all your own music, right?
Yes, I write everything myself. Sometimes I write with a friend, but mostly I... Yes, the Lord and I co-write, but he luckily lets me keep all the money, which is
That's
good,
really
'cause-
nice.
Yeah, totally.
And
My God,
when are
it's so
you
nice.
performing next and where?
I'm going to be doing lots of shows all over California and some in Canada, which is where Caterina Scorsone is from, and I'm also doing I do this sort of alter ego thing where it's the artist formerly known as Rob Giles, and we freak out and do like Wendy and Lisa and horns, and I wear...
Do you dress up as Prince?
Yeah. Like early Prince. Like,
You don't sound very excited about dressing
well,
up as
I'm
Prince.
excited about it. It's the audience that has the problem with, the whole like trench coat, jar of honey, that's it thing,
Oh, wow.
But it's hot, actually.
And how
It's
did
hot.
that come about that you do that?
There's a club here in LA called Hotel Cafe, and it's sort of like the singer-songwriter place to...
Yeah, we were just
Right.
David and I were just there watching Annalise this week.
Yeah.
And she had a whole show.
Right, it's a great venue,
It's
right?
a great venue.
I love it. It's an amazing
Now, do you
place.
perform there every week?
No, but I did have a residency there for about 3 or 4 months. I was playing every other week.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
So at the end of it, I had done, I I've only written those 2 songs that I just played, and so you can do them slow or fast or a rap. It gets old. So I thought, what else can I do? Write another song? No. Let's do all Prince, right? So that's what we did. And so I'm still waiting for that 3rd song to show up. In the meantime, September 15th, we're going to do the Prince show again.
Excellent. Yay. Thank you so much, Rob. We'd love to have you back.
Thanks. I'd love to be back.
Okay, great. You were wonderful. Thank you. So, moving right along, we have Greg Glienna here. Woo! Writer, director, actor, singer, comedian, fashion
I
guru.
spilled water on my shirt. I hope you're not getting it.
International spy. So, Greg, hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me on here.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for doing the show. He wrote the original Meet the Parents, and could you explain to us that?
I think you just summed it up right there. So
I
don't think
did?
need to-
There's
no.
nothing more to say.
All right, I will tell the story of Meet the Parents.
Okay.
I was going to film school, and I made a short film about a guy who goes to meet his girlfriend's parents, and he breaks a vase. And it was just a short little thing, and I had this idea about maybe I could just stretch that into a feature film where just the guy goes to meet his girlfriend's parents and everything goes wrong.
Right.
So I was doing stand-up comedy at the time, and I was friends with a comedian named Emo Phillips, who was a brilliant
totally
comedian.
know who he is, yeah.
And I
Hey, Emo.
I don't think he's watching this.
Well, he might.
Anyway, so I told him I had this idea for film, and the budget would be $30,000, and he agreed to put up the money to do it, which $30,000 for a film is not a lot, as you probably know. And this was in film. This is 16 millimeter actually.
Wow.
But he put up the money. We did this film, and first of all, we sold it to National Lampoon, and it was going to be released as National Lampoon's Meet the Parents, and they put ads in their magazine, and then that never happened for some reason. Then it started playing the art house circuit, and it was seen by Steven Soderbergh, the director.
Yeah.
And he brought it into Universal. He thought it would be a good, mainstream comedy, which it was.
It was.
And he was going to direct it, so they flew me out to New York, and I did rewrites with him, and we changed some things, and then...
Did you like working with Steven Soderbergh?
Yeah, he's... You know what's amazing about him? I think his biggest talent, I mean, he makes great films, but he's so good at kind of bullshitting the executives.
Oh, wow.
We met for 3 days, and, we're talking about the comedy and the gags, and then the executive from Universal came out, and he just was dazzling. He was talking about, the character arcs and the relationship between the parents and the feel and stuff, and I was
there's
just
an
like,
acting talent in that.
oh, definitely,
right?
it's a skill. I asked him how do you do that? I think it's all about making them feel that you're smarter than them, and then if they don't understand you, I think it's good.
Oh, good to know that.
Yeah.
That's future. I'll be doing that.
It's
Can you imagine me in a pitch?
But it really was dazzling. I wish I had it on tape. I would like to study it. It was like,
wow, wow.
So anyway, then we sold it to Universal.
So hi, Steven Soderbergh.
Immediately, 5 years went by.
Yeah.
And then the film came out with a different director and several other people.
Did that really upset you? That didn't you want to make it the way you wanted to make it? And
well, I kind of did make it the way I want to make it.
Okay.
For limited budget, but I look at it as selling a car.
Oh yeah, you did make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it. we have a clip. Okay, so go ahead, sorry.
I look at it as selling a car, or you sell it, and they can paint flames on it if they want, or they can,
put
do strange
what are those
things to
things that they do with the car? They put like a.
I'm sure whatever it is, you're right.
What are those called?
Hydraulics.
They soup it up, you know, with the things.
Oh, dubs.
The pimp my
Whatever.
ride. Yeah.
Okay.
Like rims.
You know what I'm talking? Yeah, rims.
Well, they put rims on my film.
Pimp my film.
They pimped you. They pimped
Pimp
your
my
film.
film.
Oh my god! And then they put Ben Stiller and De Niro in it. So now you also just directed another movie, or you did direct Meet the Parents, and you acted in it.
Yes,
yours,
I did.
your version of it.
I was the original Greg. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. And we're gonna watch a clip from that in a minute.
Yeah, it's all ready to go whenever you guys.
Beautiful. And before we do that, I want to tell everybody also that he just finished a movie. Well, not just, but it was a year ago.
Came out this year, yeah.
Came out this year with Kathy Bates and Danny DeVito. And where is that?
It's right here.
May I?
Yeah.
Or do you?
Yeah, I'll hold it up. You guys
Okay.
can talk.
So David's holding that precious. What? Can you pull it back? It's with Ron Livingston, Nev Campbell, Kathy Bates, Danny DeVito, called Relative Strangers. Now, is that a sort of cousin of Meet the Parents? Does
People
it have
always ask
similar?
that. No, I mean it's about a guy who finds out he's adopted and his birth parents are Kathy Bates and Danny DeVito.
Oh wow, that's great. That
Kinda
sounds
like
really funny.
Meet your own parents, I guess.
Oh wow.
Meet your
now,
real
now was it fun to work with them? It must have been.
Yeah, it was. Kathy Bates is the world's greatest actress.
I have to agree with you on
She's just
that.
amazing,
Yeah,
and
she is
Danny
amazing.
is just very fun, and he keeps it very light.
He seems
and
like a great
yeah, he's a
down-to-earth
very
guy. Yeah.
people kind of person. So no, it was very fun. Surprisingly, 'cause every other film I've ever directed, I also directed another film called Desperation Boulevard, which nobody saw.
With
but it's-
Judy Tenuta.
With Judy Tenuta, but
That's
it's
right.
out on video. And both those films were just horrible nightmares to shoot, and Relative Strangers was actually fun to shoot, and it was.
Now, why were Meet the Parents and Desperation Boulevard? Why were they both difficult to shoot as opposed to Relative Strangers?
No money.
Budget.
basically, Yeah.
So-
we shoot my Meet the Parents. We shot in 2 weeks, and it's a feature film. And it was, it was a friend of my mom's house that we shot in, and I think she didn't know what she was getting into. And she, we shoot a movie there. Oh, okay.
Right,
and then
right.
she was just like, "Can you guys leave?"
Now, are you ready to show the clip?
Sure, we can show the clip. This is the first dinner. I think I'm over at the family's, and the mom is making her famous roast.
And this is.
Oh, that looks wonderful. You have really outdone yourself.
Really looks great, Mrs. Brown.
Well, looks like we have wine sauce.
It's all right. It's an old tablecloth.
Would anyone like some more salad?
Okay.
That's awesome.
Mine is it's much blacker.
Yeah.
It's a dark comedy.
Yeah.
Some people die in the film. It's very.
Is that politically correct? I mean, should you say it's much darker?
It's
No, I'm
much.
just kidding.
It's more of an Indian.
I'm kidding,
film.
keeping in the because I don't want to be an Indian giver.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
it's less light.
right.
I have a couple IMs that came in here.
Yeah.
They want to know, did you write just Meet the Parents, or did you have something to do with Meet the Fockers as well?
I had nothing to do with Meet the Fockers. I got a check for it, but I had
that's nice.
nothing to do with it.
You got a check for being the original.
For using my characters.
Using your now you wrote the characters.
Well, I mean, it was 4 or 5 of the writers. Once we sold it, worked on it, and but no, I created the premise and the characters.
It's amazing.
And then Nobody's Hippie wants to know, what film school did you attend?
I attended Columbia College in Chicago briefly, and then I kind of dropped down after a year to do stand-up comedy, which turned out to be good because that's where I met Emo Phillips, who
And that brought
funded
you
my film. Yeah.
into your film.
Yes.
And how did you get Strangers? Sorry.
Relative Strangers.
Thank you. So sorry. Horrible. How did you get Relative Strangers? How did you do that?
It was a script that I wrote with a guy named Peter Stoss, and it went out and didn't sell initially, and then these friends of mine who were producers got it to Danny DeVito, and then he loved it and wanted to play it, and once we got him, it all kind of fell into place.
Oh, that's nice.
It's still an independent film, actually,
Right,
but it's
right.
a bigger independent film than anything I'm used to.
And it's out on video.
It came
It's on
out
DVD.
this year, yeah.
Okay, so you can purchase that where?
Or rent it anywhere.
Or rent it anywhere.
Do you have to go to New Jersey? No, it's everywhere.
Okay. So, and then you can say you saw Greg Glienna on MerrillWood. That's what when you're watching it.
Both
with
of you.
your friends. So now, what are we working on right now?
Well, I wrote a horror script, which is on the verge of selling. Knock wood, hopefully hopefully.
I think this is wood, actually.
Is
under
it
here.
wood?
Yeah. Well, let me double check.
MerrillWood.
Because I want to make sure. Yeah. No. Exactly. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Good
So
job.
that I have a play that I will be directing this fall in Los Angeles called "Suffer the Long Night," which is a comedy.
Now, is it cast?
Judy Tenuta is going to star in it.
Oh
It's the
wow,
only
great!
cast.
So you work with a lot of the same people,
Uh,
or it just happens
in that
this
case,
time?
yeah. She's
And-
very funny, and it's
Yeah,
it's a
she
fun
is.
it's a fun play. So
Oh,
we'll see.
great! And so when does that open and where?
That is still it's November is what we're looking at, and the
Okay.
theater in West Hollywood we're looking at, but I don't want to jinx it yet because
Okay.
none of it's
So then I'll just write in November.
yeah, it'll just November.
Somewhere in North Hollywood.
Just start walking.
But I
hopefully you'll
can,
find it.
call you up and say,
Yeah, we can
Greg. Okay, I'm coming to see it. All right. So, do we have any other IMs? Anything that anyone wants to say before we sign off?
Meryl's awesome.
Hey, we'll take that.
No, I just made that up.
Oh, Lord, David. Well, I do. I have a question. What I wanted to ask you is, did you enjoy acting? I mean, out of everything you do, what do you really love to do the most? Would you say write, direct?
I really don't like doing anything. I just like having done it.
So you're
But I get
so you're not enjoying this interview, is what you're telling me.
No, I am.
Oh, good. Okay.
No, what I enjoy most of all is sitting in the theater when it's done and listening to the audience
And watching.
laugh and hearing. And I get uncomfortable being in front of the camera, I think, so I prefer to write it, and directing it is a way of just keeping someone else from messing your stuff up.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's a control thing.
yeah.
Are you a
basically.
control freak or?
Or are you just a freak like Meryl?
Or you just let me write that down. Hold on. Control. No.
Maybe a little. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think there's an element to that with a lot of artists, wouldn't you say? I mean, because it's your art, right, Rob Giles and Caterina Scorsone?
I wrote a movie called The Guy Thing, which was the funniest script ever written, and I hate the movie. So.
Really?
Yes.
Now, who was in that movie?
Jason Lee and Julia Stiles. It was.
Would you say it was their fault? No, but I mean, sometimes it could be the cast.
No, the
or
casting was
directing.
fine. It was
Okay.
the rewriting. And
Oh, okay. Now,
basically.
but why do... Now, this bothers me about Hollywood. There's a lot of things that bother me about Hollywood, but this is one of them. Why do people take a perfectly good script that you're very happy with
I think I know because
and
it's comedy.
paint on it?
You get sick of it, I think. And I think because when we first sold that to MGM, I wrote it with a guy named Pete Schwaba. They were like, great script, but a few minor little notes, and then we do those notes, and they go, oh, that's good. But would you look at this again, this part? And the more they read it, I think they just get tired. Then the stars come in, and they have their writers and then
It gets overanalyzed.
yeah, it's like too many cooks kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. But don't they realize that?
Apparently not.
After, like, so that happens, right? And then they see the result of that retardedness, and then they continue it. What is that?
I have no explanation. It's a mystery.
It really
why
is.
Things are
Well,
done the
I
way
mean,
they're
clearly you're a talented man because, I mean, those characters in Meet the Parents.
Well,
Would
mine
you
is
agree with
mine
that
is different.
statement?
Yeah. In mine, the dad was not a FBI guy.
Okay.
In
Do you like that they did that?
oh
though?
yeah, that
and
was
he was
great.
funny
Oh,
in
yeah,
it.
he's
Demir.
great. It
Were you
works.
happy with how the Meet the Parents that
Yes, I was.
with the $60 million budget
Yes,
came
I
out?
would have been happier had I had gross points
Right.
instead of net
and
points.
what are the difference between gross points and net points for a lay person like myself?
Okay, gross points exist. They have weights, and you can spend them, and net points are just kind of like.
Okay, so they're
have
not
some net
real.
points.
You have nothing to grab onto with the net.
No, because according to
points.
Meet the Parents, is about 2 years ago was $50 million in the hole, according to
Really?
studio accounting. Yes, and it was a big hit. So
That's weird to me.
yes, But what are you going to do?
I know. Well, I stopped being an accountant because I couldn't handle the work.
Really?
I do have another
Yeah.
question for Greg from Nobody's Hippie. He wants to know, or she wants to know, who are your influences, both directors and writers?
Great question.
Yeah, I like a lot of old comedians. I love silent movies. And actually, the short version that was the precursor to my version of Meet the Parents was a silent movie with title cards in black and white.
Oh, wow.
And when I made my Meet the Parents, I was attempting to see if I could make a silent comedy with dialogue. In that it had dialogue, but it was all visual, and the dialogue was just naturalistic. There's no jokes or anything. It was
Right.
But it's very visual. So I would say my initial influences were a lot of Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, and I love the Coen brothers. And
Yeah, they're great.
Anything, Woody Allen and Albert Brooks.
What about, what do you want to continue to do? I mean, if you had your druthers,
I want
what would you...
to do your show every single week.
Oh,
I want to
yes!
be here.
I love it!
No, I just want to keep, I'd like to keep
writing.
making films. And
So, if we work together on a MerrillWood movie, will you direct it maybe? Will you write it?
you have to sleep with me.
Okay. That's a callback, people. And if you haven't been watching, that's too bad for you.
I always wonder how do people approach that question? You said
we
it was a
wanted to
roundabout
include,
way, yeah.
and feel free to chime, Caterina.
Did you
because
say you'll have the part if you?
Yes, I should sit here.
Yeah,
Hi.
see, she's still here. We love
I
it.
feel so behind the scenes.
But you're really in them.
I've never in my life. It was the most ridiculously blatant. It was literally. I sat down for 5 minutes, and he was like, the way I work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, please tell this because this part is brilliant.
He was like, we work in a very indie, collaborative style, and I need to know that we all trust each other.
I see. Okay.
And he was like, and then he was basically like, so I need to sleep with you so that I can trust you. And I was like, what?
And he needed to sleep with you to trust you, and then he needed to sleep with you for another reason.
Yes, he then said, and I said, well, I really think... I should have just gotten up and walked away and called the police. But I was like, well, no, I think that you should just give me the part, and I should not have to sleep with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, so no. See, you're thinking like a director right now, and you should be thinking like an actor. And as an actor, as your director, I need to know that I could get you to do things you wouldn't normally do.
Like
and
sleep
I'm
with you.
I'm not convinced.
Now, Greg,
I always wonder how.
Yeah, would that be something that you would
I would
never
never
do?
dream of doing that. But it's funny. You only hear about the people. You hear these stories, but it's always someone who said, "I would never do that."
Right.
You never hear. You wonder how many people.
The ones who were like,
That's how I got my
Yeah.
people are saying I would never do that, and then you hear the stories, right?
Well, I'm saying the only ones you hear about are the ones who said.
Well, that's the only
well,
reason
if you had
David
done it,
has a
would you
job
tell?
here.
Well, yeah, exactly. You wonder how much that goes on.
Okay. So unfortunately, we have to wrap up because we can't be here all night, even though I really want to be, because this feels like my new home. Brian. And so, but before I close the door, because I like to do this, I like to drag it out as long as possible for those of you who are at home and just need to pee. You are a nice person and a great guy, and I'm so glad you're on our show. And I always have a way with words, don't I? And so, is there an actor, actress, or producer that you would love to work with? Are there kinds of films you would like to make now?
Well, there are many actors and actresses I would like to work with, and I wrote this horror movie. This is the first time I ever tried that, and it's kind of similar to comedy in a way, I think, because it's like things you relate to. And
but see, I get scared, and in comedy I laugh.
But it's a little similar, I think. I mean, it's a kind of a horrible things happen in comedy, but
That's true.
It's like a horror that it's
right. You
not
take
really.
it to another level with blood and guts.
Yeah, or some of the best horror films don't even have.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Now, there was something else I wanted to ask you. Darn it! Do you have any pets?
I have a cat. Yes.
You do. What's your cat's name?
Aggie.
Aggie. And do you like vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Okay. And Caterina, what do you like, vanilla or chocolate?
I would love to say chocolate, but the truth is vanilla.
Really?
The truth is vanilla because
We may not have a good
I'm supposed to be
date.
on camera. No, but there's a reason. I think that if you just pay attention, there's a symphony of taste.
I agree with that.
Wow.
I actually
do.
agree with that.
I think
And then- but I love
chocolate can sometimes overwhelm you. And
I think
Now
you're
that is
thinking like a director.
You know, maybe Caterina, maybe you are a director.
Maybe.
Well, okay. We have to wrap it up, unfortunately.
Direct
But
the rap.
okay, I'm going to wrap it up. But I just want to thank all of my guests. It was such a beautiful
and I
show.
also wanted
Thank
to
you
just
so
give
much.
a quick shout out to all your IMers. Thanks for your questions.
Yes, thank
and,
you so much.
Especially for you guys over at the Ninth Wonders board.
Yes,
So,
thank you for
thanks for
continuing
that.
to watch our show and for being fans and for not sending me any more hate mail. But specifically, I'd like to thank always my co-host David Forrest and Brian Gramo, the producer, and Diana Hufford, right?
Yes.
And now I would like to thank my guests, Rob Giles. Thank you so much. Beautiful music you played. And thank you, Caterina Scorsone, lovely actress. And thank you very much, Greg Glienna.
Yeah.
It's really a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
Will you come back?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Thanks,
week.
guys.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
everybody,
week.
for
We'll-
watching.
Oh, we want
and
to see you next week.
next week we don't have a show, and we're sorry.
My name is Chewbacca.
You missed the door.
And that's the door. Thanks for coming to the elevator with me.